Suzette McFaul again. I'm super excited because I got to interview somebody who's really special with a lot of knowledge. I have a great respect for him, and he has amazing things to tell us. Watch for it. It's me. I have the pleasure of sitting here in Vancouver with Barry Payne. And you know, we've known each other for
many years.
Many years. We were introduced way back when in Ontario. And we continue to connect because what I found, and I think that's really special about Barry, is he's a connector. He's an amazing Indigenous entrepreneur. That's how I started knowing Barry as an entrepreneur, and he had his own business successfully, and on top of it, he's always helping people, and that's really special. And so I wanted to talk to you today that you've sat on both the procurement side and the corporate side of helping people procure, helping Indigenous entrepreneurs. So can you talk a little bit about what was most difficult, being procuring or being from sort of the corporate sense and helping entrepreneurs? Tell me a little bit about both.
I have to say which is more difficult. Obviously, the selling side is always more difficult. I think more pressure from sellers. You don't sell, you don't keep the lights on. I like to refer to coming to this side now as the dark side, because working for the federal government in procurement, so I get to share my knowledge and experience. But for me, I like to. There's more to procurement than just procurement. It's also motivating people, right? We know as entrepreneurs and there's a lot of emotions involved, right? There really is. Pressure, families. When I started, I was in my 30s, and so I had 3 kids who worry about it every day. And it was hard to take with school. You've got to perform. I call it performing. So I would have to say, the sales side of it is probably the tougher, because especially when you're young, because you really don't know what you don't know. And how to read people, and how to every situation is different. And actually, I kind of like to think now I'm not even a good I'm just strategic about how I think and approach things. So you go from that side, coming to this side, and it definitely makes me more empathetic. When people ask me, especially in the federal government and corporate area, what can procurement people do to make it easier?
Yeah.
I say return our phone calls.
That's a great start, right?
A simple phone call, right? Like how many people, you reach out, you never hear from them, right? They never call you back.
Yeah.
So I like to kind of impress a lot of people, like, just call back. Maybe it doesn't mean anything to you. It means a lot to the person on the other side, right? And just that little, entrepreneurship is emotional honor. I think 70% of all entrepreneurs have some sort of mental health issue. I can get away, yeah. So that's one thing I impress upon people on the procurement side is a simple, just acknowledge, call back, like that. Even if you don't need their product, I blow them away by saying, "Hey, thank you for reaching out, but you know what? We don't buy that." Or even then they say, "We'll call back in 6 months." Well, that's still positive. It's going in the right direction. I also like people to realize in the procurement world that yes, we're sales here, but there's more to sales than meets the eye. So there's families, there's people behind it, right?
I love what you just said. Everything that you gave for us today, and shared. For procurement people, it's very important for them to understand those things that are happening, the fear factor. It's about relationships, personality. That's why we're having a course. We're developing a course on Procure Power that's going to address some of those things. But you are here in Vancouver presenting about procurement, especially to young entrepreneurs, Indigenous young women,
actually,
right?
Indigenous women entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So speak about that. So you're giving them those kind of thoughts?
Yes. One of my passions is encouraging the youth to get involved in entrepreneurship, right? I always tell people I'd rather work for myself and earn 50% than, just the flexibility. I know there's a lot of challenges. But in this particular instance, it's NACA, National Aboriginal Capital Corp, has a kind of a sub group called IWE, Indigenous Women Entrepreneurship, where they encourage women entrepreneurs to get into business. And I think there's 100 of them. It's by invite. It's folks that they've funded. And I'm actually just going to share with them. I started out in the trunk of my car, literally. Like there was no silver spoon in my life. My mom was a single mom. And so, but I always tell people, my education, I got a PhD, but mine's perseverance, hard work, and dedication. Just, I never gave up, and they shouldn't either. And they already have, like I tell most of you already have superpowers you don't realize. When you get up in the morning, you've already faced challenges. Just, where you're from, that kind of stuff. And I just want to show to them and kind of impress upon them that don't go trying to, sell them start out small. And that's how you build relationships. It's kind of like even when you think at a personal level, you meet a person, become friends. You don't kind of go yank, it's doing little baby steps and kind of build. So that's what I'm going to talk to them about tomorrow. And I specifically talk about the federal government. And I talk about low dollar value. Low dollar value is anybody in the federal government can buy up to a certain amount, $25,000 for goods, $40,000 for services, without having to even take quotes. Just because they like you, they can buy. And for me, that's low risk, and that's where you should start if you want to really kind of grow with the government. And you learn, and you both learn each other. And that's what you want to hear. People learn, you kind of grow together, right? And you'll learn the boundaries of the Indigenous company as well, right? So it kind of gives you, and you're not taking a major risk, right? So.
Well, how lucky am I to sit here and to share this with you about procurement and Barry's background and his passion for helping both entrepreneurs and on the procurement side, bringing in the government and the corporate and those types of things. So, Procure Power, something to learn, something we can share with you. Keep in touch. We'll keep you posted.